Hey, welcome gang, back to the Wilson Combat YouTube channel, another series of the MasterClass video. This is a quick one, 2 rounds. What we're gonna shoot here is stage 1 of the Air Marshal's qualification course. It's fired at 7 yards, typically shot on an FBI QIT Silhouette in the shape of what we'll call the scoring zone. Is shaped like a milk bottle. We refer to it as a milk bottle. Don't have one today. But I took an IDPA target and took the down 1 zone, and you can see with the marker, I put a border around it so we know exactly where those shots have to be. By the way, dimensionally, it's very similar. Actually, this one is shorter than the QIT. Width-wise, about the same. The head is a little bit bigger than the QIT, but for we'll call it government purposes or Wilson combat range purposes, close enough. The real trick is I have to draw and fire 1 shot from concealment. I'll repeat it. The total time for both draws, both shots, cannot exceed 3.30 seconds, which means the average really you need to be looking at is 2 draws that are 1.65 seconds or less. And if you say you go over on 1, it means you got to pick up the pace on the second one. By the way, if you don't make the time limit, you fail. It stops right there. Now, everybody likes to brag about, boy, I need to be quick. Well, first off, understand, in the real world, decision-making process is far more time-consuming for most people than the action part. Once the brain says go, the action part's pretty straightforward. We practice so that part of the equation becomes reflexive. I don't have to think about the draw. I don't have to think about clearing the garment. Remember, you got to get a good firing grip in the holster, because if you don't, there's no time on this drill to correct it. And obviously, you got to get a hit, and a good hit. So let's see how I do on it today. That's not a good sign, is it? Anyway, the bottom line is you're going to say, well, what if I'm over? It's not the end of the world. Be realistic. If you carry a gun in your pocket, you're one of these guys that's a pocket rocket guy, you're not going to make it on this drill. Trust me, you're not going to make it. There's other techniques, for example, the gun at the junk position where you simply have to pull your shirt and pull the gun. It's pretty fast. But then there's other issues with that, such as comfort and, does the gun print? There's a lot of things you got to balance for your needs, not mine. I'm going to do a traditional 3 o'clock draw, because that's the way I've carried a gun most of my life. I'm going to shoot from under concealment, under a vest. And people say, well, that makes it more difficult. Think in terms, what if you live in some place in the northern part of the United States in the winter months where it's really cold? You don't walk around in a vest or a hoodie. You're going to be layered up. And let's be realistic, it's going to dramatically affect your draw speed. Typically, most people will add in the neighborhood of a half a second extra drawing the gun from under concealment. So let's try stage 1, the Air Marshal's qual. 1 shot on the signal. Let's see where I end up. All right, here we go. .34. 1.34. Actually, I'm in the down 0 zone. Let's do another one. .37. So obviously, I passed stage 1. My totals would be roughly in the neighborhood of about a 2.80. And I had to be under a 3.30. It means you have to have everything together. The grip has to be uniform when you get the gun, no time to change it. The draw speed, people say, well, how fast should I draw? As fast as you can get the gun on target. Your number 1 problem in the real world, number 1, my old buddy Dave Spalding really x-rayed it when he said, your number 1 problem is to get the gun between you and the threat. That's your first problem to solve. Number 2 is to press the trigger in such a manner you don't disturb alignment. Pretty straightforward. Not easy to execute, but that's what's required. 2 shots, 7 yards, take it to the range, try it, and do it the way you carry a gun. I see all these guys on YouTube, and they're doing it with what I call range concealed gear. It's not the way they really carry a gun. You're just kidding yourself. set the scenario up 7 yards and say, I'm going to put the gun on the way I carry it. I'm going to try it. And you say, well, I can't make the time, but it gives you a benchmark to work for. So if you can't make the time, you know, how far out are you? You say, well, it takes 3.30 total and I'm at 5 or 6. Well, what does that mean? It means you got some work to do. And I have guys say, well, I can't do it. No, don't say you can't do it. Say you're not willing to work to the point where you can do it. So be realistic. Take it to range, try it. Real simple one, gang. Stay safe. Get your range time in. We'll see you down the road.